So here we are, episode 9.
Episode 9.
That's madness. We're almost here. We said we'd do 12 episodes to see how it all went, and then who knows what's going to happen afterwards. But 9 episodes, pretty good. We've had some really cool guests on so far. But this is a good one because we're back again, all three of us.
All three of us here.
Yeah,
Finally.
it's been a while since that.
It has. It's been months. It's been months. Because we've had a bit of time off, and then we've had guests, and we've done this and that. So it's nice to sort of catch up with you both and see everyone again. Not that we don't see each other all the time anyway.
Yeah.
But it's nice to actually
sit in this room.
Yeah. So we'll just have a bit of catch up, really, sort of see how everyone is. And what you've been getting up to, sort of anything cool you've been doing or anything like that, hospitality-wise, health-wise, anything else cool? Because I know you've been getting still doing your running, you're still doing your other bits and pieces.
I just got back into running again, yeah.
How are you finding that?
It's weird because I want to go at the same distance and same pace that I did when I've run the half. But, I haven't run properly for months. So, 5K is it's still a 5K and I'm not doing it quickly. I'm kind of just strolling through it. Yeah.
Sort of going through. So what was the reason you sort of slowed down? Was it work? Was it?
No, I didn't have a goal. So I started running and then decided to book a half marathon. So I had the goal of the half marathon. So that was it. It was a big goal. It was an ambitious, I'm going for it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then once I did it, obviously I found out I got plantar fasciitis on both feet, which sucks balls when you run.
That's a really big word for someone who doesn't know it. I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's essentially, so the fascia is like a small muscle on the bottom of your foot. And it tries to expand as well. For a lot of people, it can do. For a lot of people with flat feet, it doesn't do that very well. So essentially, it just ruptures, or not ruptures, but as a muscle grows and tears and things and rebuilds itself, there's not a lot of blood flow in your feet. So when that happens, it doesn't hold itself together properly, so it kind of pulls itself too far. I
love the fact you know all this stuff.
So it's trying to
madness.
So it tries to cope with that, and then it basically strains the middle part of your foot, which then can also go up your heel into your Achilles.
Is that
so? It means it's hard to walking. When it first came about, I thought I'd fractured my foot, and then I found out about plantar fasciitis.
Is that linked? Can people get that? Obviously, sort of dialing it a little bit back to what we do. Is that because of you're always on your feet?
So you can get it from standing on your feet for long hours of the day. You can have it as having a flat foot. I basically have a really small arch, so I'm not flat-footed, but I
can't wait to take the mick out of you later for having a small arch.
But like flat foot.
But no, you know what I mean. That could be something that's obviously due to the fact that
people can get it and not even know what it is, because obviously you walking around, running up and down stairs, standing on your feet for 12 hours a day. You can get these little ningles in your feet and you think, I've just got sore feet. It might just be that.
You've hurt yourself.
But when you find out about that and this weird deeper side of things, so it's like, say we went back 20 years, we would all just been goofy twats, right? And now we're here and we're like, I've got ADHD. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's it's in the running world, it's like an in thing.
It's the in thing. All the cool kids have got them.
Not really, but once you know what it is, you're just like, oh yeah, this is what it is, and you say these massive words to people, and you start talking about it. So it's one of those things. So,
so so obviously going back to you running now again, is that something you're going to be able to carry on? You're going to be able to.
So I've set a new goal.
You just got to be super careful.
No, it's not so much about being careful. It's about so I've got these compression socks. So you're
so cool.
I've got super socks. So I've got compression socks. So they just basically where the band is right in the middle of the foot. Yeah. So it just helps add a little bit of support to that.
Okay. So now you can carry on running.
Yeah. And then also every time I go before I run, obviously I warm up properly. And I hate feet, so this sucks. But I have to massage my feet. I have to get a solid little ball, and I basically roll out
I hate the fact you're into this so much.
So things that I can run and I can walk straight,
So with that then, is that what you've been doing since you've been gone back and since we've had a bit of a break between us all? You've been doing anything else exciting?
Me and Bernie have been away quite a bit recently.
Yeah, nice.
So we went
lots of walks.
Yeah, we did city walks. So in Spain, even with the little one, I think we were still clocking up about 15 to 20,000 steps a day.
Do you think obviously going away from having a bit of time off, doing nice things, is that sort of, because I found when I went away, when I came back, I was full of beans. I was like, I'm ready to go again. I feel good. Do you feel?
Crashed.
Yeah, absolutely. I've crashed again.
You guys have energy.
Oh, what?
You guys have energy.
Energy. Not having energy.
No, but you took all your time off in one slump. Remember, you had a whole month off. Right, just
you went Christmas. You went to Christmas, didn't you?
Yeah, Christmas.
So when
that
you
was like,
but then yeah, that's what I mean. It's
That's
so
what I
like,
mean.
a
You
year
used your
ago
holiday
when
off in like one lump sum. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah, no,
you were
but
like, I'm going home for a month and then
Yep.
came back like 300
that's,
days.
that's the thing is like I have to do that because I don't have time. To,
Yeah.
like, I live far away. Like I can't just go see my parents
for a couple of days and come
go
back.
see my friends and that for a couple of days. I have
Yeah.
to go do it all in one lump block and then go
Yeah.
back down.
Yeah.
And then
Do you find that though, you know, when you have that long time off, you have that big time off, it resets you, you're ready to go again, or do you feel that you actually come back and go, man, I really enjoyed that, and this is even harder now because I'm not out of rhythm?
Yeah, it's weird getting back into rhythm, but I really enjoyed my holiday. But I quite like being back at work. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, we
have
stroll
fun.
around, we chat, we
Yeah.
appreciate each other, and it's nice being in that routine where I can talk to everyone every day.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Sam? What other than obviously working,
not going on holiday.
not going on holiday, because not all of us get to go. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have, but
No.
what else have you been up to? Anything since you've been
Moved flat.
Mhm.
It's very
fancy flat? By the way.
fancy flat.
Very fancy flat.
Very expensive.
Yep.
Too expensive. So I've just been working trying to cover rent.
Yeah.
For that, I've not had time to do anything else.
It's fair. It's
So,
fair.
Just decided that you wanted this much stress for this much living quality.
Yeah, it's a high life. He's living the high life.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's it. You know.
My bed's comfy.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
So like, okay. So I had a bit of time off. I went away, first time in forever. It was amazing.
It was like what, 5 years?
5 years since I've been like properly abroad. Yeah. I think obviously with COVID and everything else in between, but yeah, having that bit of time off felt amazing. And then having a bit more time off to see family and stuff. I had that 2 blocks. I felt great. When I came back, I was buzzing. I've been reading books. I've been like really focusing on what I can do to make myself better.
Yeah.
And for the first week, I was in. I was like, in my head, this is amazing. This is what I'm going to do. I've got plans we've got plans going forward. We're going to move some bits around for work and stuff like that for us. But I had some real good plans. And I managed it for a week, like no problems at all. Felt great. It's when reality then hits. So the sort of the buzz from the holiday, the buzz from having time off, reality hits the following week or week after. And you're like, but I've just committed to doing all this amazing stuff.
Yeah. But
then I've also got to commit to work. And then I've got to commit to seeing family. I've got to commit to seeing friends. I've got to commit to... And all of a sudden, right now, I feel very like, oh my God, there's so much going on at once.
Very overwhelmed.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's when I'm sort of just... I've got to try and focus on the stuff that really means something and matters. And then the other stuff I'm going to have to drop or put to the side for a while. I wanted to sort of look at that because it's a weird one for me because it's like normally... without all these commitments, I've got a bit of spare time. I've got this, I've got that. And it used to be sort of very much I'd go to work, go to the gym, go home, play on the Xbox, whatever. But now I've got loads of other stuff I want to focus on and actually commit myself to
Do you
reading.
think you've thrown too much in there at the same time?
Maybe, yeah. I think maybe I've gone for it a bit too hard, but I've kind of got a bit of a plan again. I just need to reset.
You set yourself like a little tier list
just
of
tiny
which ones you're
steps
gonna-
as opposed to
which
just
ones are
going-
your priorities,
Yeah.
which ones are your options, and which ones you can
drop,
kind of you can pick up when and what you needed.
So, and I think that's something I've learned very quickly over the last week or so is that sometimes we put so much on ourselves with work, family, friends, hobbies, interests, try and look after yourself all at once. It's neon impossible to do all of that at once. So I think it's almost fair to start saying, I don't want to do this, or I'm not committing to that. And because you've got to, and I say this to a few people, I've said it to a lot of people recently as well, because it's all about trying to be amazing yourself before you can be amazing for everyone else, and look after yourself before you can look after anything else.
My brain's
Do you know
just
what I
gone
mean?
on a walk.
That's never good.
It's very relative,
Right,
right?
okay.
It's in line with this, but my brain just went. But you know, we always, when we set up a new skill or we do things, we always look at the basics, the building blocks.
Yeah.
But we never look at that as our only lives. You know, we never go, all right, I should look after this first, build up my blocks.
Yeah.
Right. Once I've got the base of the pyramid.
Are you going to say the foundation?
Yeah, right. Once I've got the bottom there, once it's all ready, then I can move on to the next step. Once I can look after myself properly, I can then look after this. I
other
can do
people.
this, and you know what I mean. It's a weird way that I've never looked at it before.
It's 100% like vital to be able to give everything to yourself, but you have to be able to look after yourself first. And that it's you read, you listen. When I was on holiday, I read loads of those self-improvement books and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to lie, and it's not something to be ashamed
coming
of.
back as a life coach?
To be quite honest, I mean, I read a book about life coaching, but it wasn't to become one.
Yeah.
But it was very much a lot of it points out you're the priority no matter what. And it's that saying is, when you're on an aeroplane, you have to look after yourself first before you can save anyone else. You put the mask on yourself first. You need to be the first priority, because without you being the first priority, everything else you can't even give 10% because you haven't got it yourself. So we're reading a lot of these like books and stuff, and it's kind of tripped me into thinking, okay, yeah, no, this is what I need to do. But what I did do is I went full hog straight away.
Yeah.
And that's probably an error.
Yeah, you haven't given yourself time to set.
You read like 2 or 3 books and they say different things. You go, I'll do all of that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's a tricky one. So I've committed to a couple of things. And what I've allowed myself is, well, actually, when I'm at work, I can't do those things. So, okay, well, I can't do them on those days, but I can still do them. And it's still 10% better than I was 2 weeks ago, or whatever it might be. And it's those baby steps. But the goal is to be content with what I want and happy, or whatever it might be, to feel amazing, to then be able to give to someone else and help someone else. And, you know, and that's, I think, a lot of people in jobs, in businesses, in, you know, anything in between. I think that if you're not 100% first, and you're meant to be looking after other people, because whether you're the CEO, the boss, the manager, whatever it is in between, you've got people that depend on you no matter what. And they might not necessarily understand all the real stuff you're going through. They just want to know the answer. So it could be like, oh, what am I working this week? Or I need this, I need that. So, but you can't go, oh yeah, no problem, and help them until you're in a good place to begin with, I think. Because you start dropping stuff and you start missing stuff, and it disappoints those people, even though it's not intentional. But you'll end up going, oh, look, I'm really sorry I've missed this, or I've not done this, or I've not done that, because actually I've been trying to figure my own stuff out. So yeah, I think, and that's what sort of, I know I was going to talk about it later, but I've got like a bit of a sort of a kind of a challenge for you, Per, and I think it's something I've kind of been doing, and I think it's something that
it's going to be like 75 hard or something like that.
Yeah, so it's basically run 2 marathons a day. No, but basically it's looking after yourself, and it's trying to prioritize.
Something that he's been doing. He definitely hasn't run a single marathon.
No, I'm never ever. I'm not ever running, let alone thing. I actually went on a treadmill the other day and took it to past walking space, and I was like,
oh my God.
no, sod that. That's horrible. Why does anyone do? You sweat so much. But what it is that I've sort of dedicated, so I have, unless I'm at work, because that was the other thing, because I was trying to do it every day. So unless I'm at work, I switch off everything at 10:30.
Yeah.
So say, for example, I don't know, you guys might go to bed a bit later on than I do, or earlier or whatever, but find that hour and a half before you go into bed, switch off all your TV, switch off your phone, switch off everything. Obviously have your phone on if you need it as an emergency, but just don't be on it. Find a book, read a book for like an hour, maybe half an hour, fall asleep. I promise you'll be falling asleep. Like, I fall asleep all the time now with a book on my face and all sorts of stuff. It's quite funny. But because of that, I've been learning more. And I don't know if it's like some weird neuro thingy-mabob, it probably isn't. But because I've been reading it at night and falling asleep to it, the more I remember it.
Do you know what it might be? It's a different stimulus.
Yeah.
So you're normally so used to learning it by rather watching it or listening to it or reading it on a screen,
scrolling
and
through
then
stuff.
and now it's like it's a physical copy in your hands.
Yeah.
It's a brand new stimulus. You're still excited about it.
Yeah.
So when you're reading it, you're absorbing it because you're excited about that.
That's interesting. So what my thing was, I was going to go hardcore and say to you guys, right, well, currently because I've stopped drinking, so that's a big thing. It's changed a lot of my life. I've obviously now doing this as well, and what I've also committed myself to is a minimum of sort of 12,000 steps. Yeah. Which at first I was like, as I said, the first week smashing it, no problem. But then when things started coming up, and I was going, oh no, I'm not going to get my steps in, and like that, I felt like I was failing myself. So it's almost quite a tough one if you're not doing it. But if you can promise yourself, right, okay, let's do 10,000. So keep it as simple, say do your 10. So my challenge would be to, hour before you guys go to bed, switch off everything, have a half an hour read, find something interesting, whether it's a book, a magazine, whatever it might be, read physical print as opposed to on a screen, and get those 12,000 steps in. I mean, you might be okay. You say that, yeah, but you say that now because you're like, oh, I went for a run. But like, there's some days when you get up late, you can't be bothered. You just sort of roll into work, and and it's not a busy day, so you're not running around. And that's when you have to sort of go, no, I've promised myself I'm doing these steps. Like yesterday, I was running every bit of food. I was running every drink on the app. I was then going, I'll get this, I'll change the barrel, I'll do this, I'll do that, and it's so that I could get my steps in. By the time I got home, I'd done like 15,000. Which
but usually, if I'm working, I'm doing between 15 and 20,000.
But what do you do on your days off? Exactly.
What do you fucking think?
So this is what I mean, and that's the battle. So I actually know it's my day off. I deserve a break. You do 100%, but your break shouldn't. Your day off should still be something that improves your life and it should make you better. And trust me, one thing I've learned is going for that walk on your own with headphones in, like, or whatever it might be. I come back, I might be hot and sweaty, have a shower, whatever. I feel amazing for the rest of the day. Like, genuinely, I feel good. It sorts my head out. It sorts everything out. I've got that time to myself where I'm thinking. I put some music in, whatever it might be. Listen to a podcast, whatever it might be. I know, but like, find something to listen to, read, whatever, and have that different part. Because what I fell into the trap of was, I was going home, I was putting the Xbox on after I'd done what I thought was a big day. I'd do work, I'd go to the gym. I was like, well, I've achieved everything I need to. Then I'd just sit on a computer for 5 hours. And then I try and go to sleep. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm wide awake. It's now 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm finally falling asleep. I'm up at 6.
Yeah.
So I'm getting no sleep. Then I'm miserable the next day. So I can't be bothered to go to the gym. I can't be bothered to do any good work. I can't be bothered to walk around. So that's one challenge here. So from now until the next podcast, so when we next do the next one, we're going to, if you guys want to, you're going to commit to it.
Well, you just have to charge your Whoop again and you can actually track all your steps. Does Whoop have steps? Does Whoop have steps?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can't remember because it doesn't have a screen. I always forget.
But
Yeah,
I mean, you can get it on your phone. Like, you can get it, whatever. But so if you guys are up for it, 12,000 steps every day from, should we say today?
Is it just 12 or should it
Today.
be like relative to a while?
Can we not say tomorrow because I'm off today and I want one last day of being sedentary? Let me sit my arse.
Right, from tomorrow,
From tomorrow.
hour before you go to bed, everything off.
Yeah.
Honestly, trust
That
me.
just means I'm going to go to bed an hour later.
No, it doesn't. You just literally, trust me, it works. You just got, it's one of those things that you
Just
need
means,
to.
Oh, I usually go to sleep at 3. Okay, I'll stop everything at 3 and I'll go.
No, just have that. It is hard at first, but now that I've committed, like I've done it for a little bit, it's actually really easy.
I think
Because I know I'm going to progress. I'm going to gain something from it, as opposed to playing video games or whatever. I don't know if it's when I'm getting a bit older, but I've now got to that point where I'm not gaining anything from this. I'm just wasting my time, and time is something I'm never getting back. Whereas I can get anything else back.
Yeah.
So if I can use that time better,
God, you really did have an existential
I
crisis in your home.
did. I've read so many books. now.
That lawsuit case.
Yeah, I know, but that's my challenge to you guys anyway. And I think yes, okay, for you might need to do some more. Maybe so find what your average is, and then add like 5,000 on. You know, and the same with you. If yours is do 12,000 every day, and just see what happens. And in a month's time when we come back, we'll say what you think, and it gives us a little bit more.
The thing is, for me, I'm just really bad at just doing
Self-motivation.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't.
So
I
as a challenge, then, that's your motivation.
So like intrinsically, you don't really like
Do I get
force
a
yourself to
prize
do
for it?
anything. But like,
If you do it, I will get you a prize.
That's fine. That's
I will get you something.
That's a motivation.
and then we can also, if you want, we can set up a virtual diary or something.
Yeah.
And then we can track the days that we do and do not complete
So
everything.
I would say to
and then we
anyone-
can have like a personal challenge to see who gets the highest score.
Yeah.
So I would say to no, because it's going to be you.
Well, no,
You've
I'm
already
not
won that
talk-
one.
I'm not, I'm not
I've
talking
gone for a
about the
marathon.
steps, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about shutting things off in the evening.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're going to shut things off in the evening. We're going to start reading books. I can't fucking read, I'm massively dyslexic. So reading the book isn't going to be the
That's
easiest
going to be the
thing for
hardest
me.
thing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sitting down to try and do that because I'm already going to be annoyed and stressed at doing that.
Yeah.
Right. So therefore, reading becomes even harder. But that's something I'll try and do, and then we can say, right, did I read a book here or did I not? Did I sack that bit off?
Well, the thing is,
Right?
it's not.
And then
in the sort of half an hour or hour you decide to read, there's not a set amount you need to read.
No.
It's having that bit of time, and it winds you down and everything else. And I just think it's something that could really
This
benefit.
actually is a very soft course, 75 hard actually.
Yeah, well, we're not doing exercise. It's just reading.
Well,
Just a bit of reading, Sam.
walking is
I'm asking-
exercise.
But I tell you what we'll do.
no, to be fair though, like if I'm able to do that, it'll give me the motivation to actually go to the gym regularly.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And this, the idea. This was only meant to be a quick little snippet.
And here
but-
we are, like
yeah.
25 minutes later,
But
chatting away.
all I'm saying is we can get that sorted. We'll set up a little group if we need it, so we can keep motivating
We have
each
a
other,
little
keep
group.
everyone accountable. No, it's separate from that.
Yeah.
So we've got our own little thing. And I think anyone who's listening, it could be something cool to maybe think about doing with a group of
Setting
friends,
a
a
mini
group of
goal,
people.
yeah.
Set that thing, because it's not just like it's a bit of a laugh and whatnot. It's actually something that's genuinely going to improve something. You're going to feel better somewhere along the line. You are going to feel better.
Yeah.
You're going to feel better for the walking. You're going to feel better for having that downtime and actually switching off, because there's a whole science behind it with looking at screens before you go to bed and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
Have you
but-
been reading and listening to Andy Huberman?
No, I did read a lot about that as well. But
To be
it's
fair,
it's
I've
one
got-
of those.
I've got 3 books at the moment. only
Have you opened any of them?
yeah, but one of them.
There we go.
Every single one of them. I'm saying every single one. All three of them have fucking a name. So that they're three self-help books. Right?
Yeah.
One's just called Fuck It.
Yeah.
Other one's Everything Is Fucked.
Yeah.
And then I think the other one's like How to Not Give a Fuck.
And if you read, so read them.
Well, yeah, I've started Everything Is Fucked.
Excellent. So as I said, we'll get
So,
that.
like,
Get
it's
that.
actually a book about hope. So like hope is like the thing that's intrinsic to whether someone could be happy
Yeah.
or depressed.
Another one. Sorry, I know I've just completely interjected there. Do you remember the energy bus? The one that you do when you're doing your
No, because we don't know who they are.
Huh?
Who's that?
Anyway, when we do our like training bits for like stepping through like the progression chain, they hand out like books,
Right.
and they always hand out the same books basically because they have very good like life values and things. And then one of them is the energy bus,
Right.
and it's about a guy who basically.
Oh wait, no, yeah.
I was telling you the other day.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you remembered it.
Yeah.
And I was going to try and find it and grab it for you. That I could do that this month, and then that's a book for you to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can get, as I said, let's get that set up because I think it's just something that people can benefit from.
Yeah.
That was the whole point. Okay. So that's my challenge. And then yes, if you manage to do it, I'll get you something nice.
Fine.
Okay. So cool. That was my little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some bits for us. You've got some interesting, what's all the world that's going on at the moment.
So going from this, it's a very healthy podcast today.
Yeah, we're trying.
Because I was actually looking into the potential new smoking ban that's coming to pubs, restaurants, and bits.
Boo.
Yeah. So
Boo.
if we are looking at it from purely the health benefits, then it will help a lot of people.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it
Yeah.
will definitely help the younger generation more than it'll help us because we're already fucked.
Yeah.
But the implications that it hits for us being in the pub trade is what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
But then if we had like a segue to what it could mean to like the NHS, and then
I think it's going to be one of those, if that actually goes into place, it's going to be, I'm looking at as someone who runs a business.
yeah, it's gonna be a nightmare.
It will absolutely be a nightmare for me to manage. If it happens, I think it's going to be a massive deterrent for people. Yeah, people smoke or vape or whatever, but that's going to be a massive deterrent. You know what? I'm not going into that pub. I'm not going into that bar because I can have a beer or two, but then all of a sudden I've got to go walk 10 minutes down the road.
Bar, then walk up outstairs out the front.
Well, it's not even out the front. They have to go way out the front. You can't smoke in front of a pub.
The projection for it is that it won't be within the parameter of the pub.
Jeez.
So they would have to then walk down the road essentially to smoke, right? And if you live in a built-up area where you have people who live either side of your pub, then all they're going to get is those people standing outside their house,
sitting on their walls or
smoking,
whatever.
and then they're going to get a load of cigarette
The thing is,
butts,
if you think about built-up
know?
areas as well, there's places where there's loads of pubs right beside each other. They're going to be in...
You're going to have to go.
You're going to have to go 10 miles that way to actually
this is the thing. So it's going to put those people off. And then when I look at that, I think, well, actually, if that's happening in bars, it's going to happen in clubs, right? So
it happens in clubs, so they're not allowed to smoke within the smoking area anymore. So then you have to leave the club.
Yeah.
Right. And then a lot of clubs don't give you a stamp for you to come in and out.
No.
So once you leave, you have to pay entry again to get back in.
Yeah.
Or is it going to be?
Change that?
Yeah. Well, or is it going to be? Well, actually, I'm not going to go to a club for 4 hours or whatever people go for because I can't. I'm going to have to I'm going to have to go out, cross the road, round the corner. It's like people aren't going to do it.
No, they're just going to go to Tesco, get bottles of beer, and sit at home. And then we have that instance from lockdown where people are drinking too much because there's no one there to tell them no.
Yeah. Because people don't actually a lot of people don't know their limit.
I think as well.
I still don't know my limits.
If are they actually doing this or?
No, they haven't said they're not doing it, and everything is kind of like lining up with that's what they're trying to set up. So in 2027, they're setting up the thing that it's going to be illegal for a generation to buy cigarettes.
Yeah.
So so anyone born after 2009, they would never legally be able to buy cigarettes because every year that it's going to go up in age.
They add an extra year, yeah.
So when they finally meet with the criteria now for them to buy cigarettes, by the time they hit that age, it'll be the year above them, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So they already have implements right now, but I don't understand if that's something they're planning to do. Then why haven't they just implemented it this year?
So I think that
Why wait 3
The
years?
smoking thing, I think, is good because it's going to eventually wean people off.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things, it won't affect bars, restaurants, pubs, everything, because you're used to not smoking. But
Yeah.
the current climate where we are, and don't get me wrong, you said there's a very low percentage now in comparison to what it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Well, it
still,
was 2007 was when it
When
was
the actual,
in England, and 2006 was Scottish.
Yeah.
You know, that's when they
Actually put the
implemented
ban
it
in.
bars
Yeah.
and pubs and restaurants and things.
So I think the issue with this is that if you're moving all these people
down the road.
down
Yeah.
the roads who are already very, very drunk,
Yeah.
antisocial,
And then you're
behaviours just
also-
skyrocket.
Yeah.
You're also grouping them up outside your venue where you have no policing.
You have no control over
you got
what
no
they do
con-
outside.
Yeah.
And then you're putting them to basically you're going, all right, you can't smoke here, you got to go down there. So they go down there, and then they're going to harass the people who live there.
Yeah.
They're going to harass each other.
Yeah.
There's going to be more fights because they're now agitated that they have to get up and leave.
Yeah.
You know.
And all it takes is a couple of people bumping into the wrong person, and
Yeah.
and this is
And
the
how are we going to police that?
this is going to
If
be
you've got everyone sat there smoking in an area that you can supervise,
yeah.
like we do,
So, well, this is it. And, you know, for us, I think they should go, okay, then, well, if we're going to do something like this, it should be at, like, I don't know, restaurants or pubs or something where it's full of kids. Because the whole
Yeah.
point, the argument is to stop kids breathing it in and things like that, which I completely get.
it's a
The-
family friendly,
Family friendly.
The biggest standpoint
Yeah.
is what they're actually standing by is that up to 80,000 people a year die to smoking related illnesses.
Yeah.
And then that has a massive implication on the
On the
NHS.
NHS, yeah.
And the NHS is on its arse. So they're trying to reduce that, so build up more funding and more resources for the NHS by having less people going in with smoking related issues.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, with all that, which is obviously a great thing if you want to stop that, I get that. I really do get that. The issue I've got is that the impacts on hospitality, the impacts on hundreds of thousands of people's
Yeah.
jobs, the impacts on everything else, it's just going to be, and I'm not against this idea, I'm really not, but I just think that, again, it should be, if they're going to do it, it's got to be family friendly only.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be wrong, so our pub, we let people in, kids in from a certain time. I'm happy just to scrap that if that means I can keep it. I'd rather not have families in and kids. Not that I don't want them in, but it's easier, and at least it means that my business can keep actually going.
Yeah.
Because I do think that, once again, it's another nail in hospitality's coffin. It's another nail in those pubs, bars, restaurants. Think about all those old boy bars and stuff like that. Kids aren't in there anyway.
No.
But, you know, John, who comes in every single day, has 3 pints of John Smiths and 2 cigarettes outside, isn't going to be able to do that. He's going to say, well, I'll just sit in my flat then.
Yeah.
Like-
and then those 3 pints turn into
Into a
6.
case of beer,
Yeah.
and he's, you know, next thing you know, he's drank himself to death. So this is the problem. So I think that they should, if they're going to do it, because I was talking to someone from Canada only yesterday, and they do
Oh,
it.
yeah, they're
and they
like-
do
yeah.
it in Canada. This is their rule.
Yeah.
He says it's, but he says because of it, obviously loads of pubs and bars were initially closed.
Yeah.
Some have reopened again now, and people are used to it now. But I think the initial shock of it happening will just be a massive impact on bars and restaurants.
Yeah.
Which will mean, you know, livelihoods of all these people will
Yeah.
stop.
People who work in the bar industry and pub industry and just the drinks industry.
Yeah.
You know, it will have a massive impact. Like in 2007, I think I read a study that when that first came out, it hit like 13% of pubs, and we had like a massive closure rate within that
Yeah.
first year.
Yeah.
But there's been a consistent closure rate since then.
Yeah, but that's
Like
not
it's-
just due to the smoking. That's
No,
you know,
I
think
due
that's
to the
just due-
climate and
that's
the-
the-
obviously
yeah,
to
and
do with the world.
world
It's
we
just-
live in.
But it's another
Yeah.
impact.
It's
It
showing
is.
the
It's-
state of
yeah.
the industry and the world we live in, and it's showing the state of the economy. It's showing the state of how much money people are actually willing to spend
just
and
because
do
they
things
could, yeah.
and stuff. Like
Well,
it's
this
not
is
the
it.
same anymore.
No.
Because we had the excess money, we used to just throw it around. Because I
Yeah.
did before lockdown, when I was in the training team and such, I had a lot more of a leeway with my outgoings because I didn't have many like set outgoings. I didn't have many
Yeah.
bills. I didn't have things that I
No.
just paid for on a like a consistent basis. So a lot of that went straight into my savings, and I fucked off a lot of it. You know, and now like I have a lot more responsibilities and things that I do have to pay for.
Yeah.
And that's only going to go up.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to? Because obviously, with everyone at the moment, I've just got my phone out to sort of ask a few sort of questions because it's all kind of tying in. But I mean, like, with obviously everyone then now, not so say this went through, so now you can't smoke in bars. So now all of a sudden, there's people staying at home.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously a lot of bars, restaurants, everything else. I was even talking to a local supplement business only the other day, and they've now hooked up with Deliveroo because
Yeah.
people are too lazy or can't be bothered to go out. So it's another reason for people not to go out. So what do you think? So do you think like the Deliveroo services and everything else in between? Do you think that's had a big impact as well? Because now people don't necessarily have to go out to have good food. They don't have to go out to think it's cheaper to buy the beer in anyway. But if you want a nice meal,
Well, since lockdown, the whole world has basically gone, stay at home, we'll bring it to you. Right? Because if I forget something, get shopping, that same night I can just load up Uber, I can click a button, and it comes within half hour.
yeah.
You know, that's the world. That's everything is so easily delivered to you and like readily available that why do we need to go back out? Like, I'm not going to go jump back in the car, get Bernie and little one in there, go down to the shops just to pick up those couple of items to then rush back, get it all away, and then try and get her bathed in bed.
So do you think that it's now just we're so used to convenience that almost going out is an inconvenience?
Yeah.
Especially
Which
when
is
it's raining.
madness. Well, that's what I mean. Like, the slightest bit of rain,
There's
or
an app of for everything.
There
you can
is.
get beer delivered now. Like you can get your used shops delivered.
Very fucking expensive.
Yeah,
It's
Well, is
actually worse than getting.
It's probably expensive, but is it cheaper than going to a bar?
No.
No.
What, even if you order like a case of beer?
Yeah, it's hella expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never done it. So
Such a tax on it if you're like.
that's mad.
It's the same with
Well, that's good.
like any groceries you order on like Uber or delivery or something. There's like a 30% increase in price from what it actually would be if you just
If you went to the shop. But do
Then
you think?
you're also paying delivery on that.
But do you think
and
people are
service
still
charge.
willing to do that as opposed to?
No, I'd just go and get it.
Yeah, but like the grand.
Yeah, not just you, but I mean, like
I would say on an average,
total
more
of.
people would.
Because there's a thing. It's like
If
40.
you've got the money to do it, then fair
That's
enough.
what I mean.
But some people don't
But-
have the money.
No,
to
it's
do
like
it.
But some people
40
don't have the money to go to the shops to get
yeah,
their
yeah.
groceries and stuff.
And it's like 40. I think 40 something % of people now do their monthly shop online. So
Yeah,
everything just
delivered.
comes in, just gets delivered.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a massive increase. But the reason I was asking is because obviously so many restaurants and things like that now are doing Deliveroo.
Yeah.
Do
You have
that
to. You got to
it's-
keep up with the climate.
That because people now are just not going out,
No.
which is
Well,
like,
it's like say what year is it? 24. So 2015 was when like, the gin boom started going. Right, those bars and pubs that didn't have gins, yeah, they were falling behind. If you go anywhere now, you look behind the bar, they've got a range of 10 plus gins.
easily, yeah,
Yeah,
easily.
and that's because they had to follow suit. You can't just forget about
Can't be
a
left
part of,
behind.
a part of your now industry.
Yeah.
You got to keep up with it because people will come in and ask for it.
Yeah.
So if people are asking for something from you and you can't deliver it, literally, then you fall behind. So if people are now ordering online, say an extra 20% of people are now ordering online, that's 20% of sales that you're potentially losing by not being on that
And
platform.
then everyone else is going to the bar that's now the new one with
Yeah.
the new bits. Okay. So what do you think's the next thing? Obviously, if this smoking thing comes in, if you think if it doesn't, we all know that the industry's struggling at the moment with the way the world
It's
is.
going to struggle
Do you
with
think
the fact of
that-
having less people in for the smoking. It's going to struggle because how do we police it? We're 100% not going to have more staff on to keep an eye on it to
No.
make sure people aren't smoking outside.
But what I was saying was, where do you see with all these things going in, hospitality as a whole, restaurants, bars, things that people used to go to? Because I always say, like, always good things are always surrounded by food, but now food's deliverable. Like, good
Yeah.
food's deliverable. It's not just takeaway burgers and things.
Yeah,
You get
yeah.
good food delivered to your house. So good things can now, in my opinion, can happen at home. Like, you can have your big socials at home. So what do you think? In reality, where do you think what's going to change, or what's going to make hospitality viable still? Or do you think that it's going to be one of those businesses that, slowly but surely, and I keep saying 2030 is going to be the £10 pint and the £7 pint at Weatherspoons?
You're being very generous in giving it to 2030.
Well, this is me looking roughly, I mean, you're right. I probably am being
couple
generous.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already.
I mean, we're already in 2024.
I think there was like
24, and we
I seen
already have
something
£6 on average.
Seen something on Instagram. There was like somewhere in London was selling a pint of Brooklyn Pilsner, which isn't necessarily strong or necessarily good.
Yeah.
It's all right for £8.50.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a pint; it was a bottle.
That's mad.
£8.50.
What
So I
size
get
box?
I get like
It
the.
was the
330,
yeah. The
So I
regular
guess
bottle.
the thing is, obviously, I know like if you go to festivals, you go to things, the increase of prices is crazy,
Yeah.
and that's just natural. We're getting used to that. But what do you think is going to happen? Like I always say, 2030. I think that's going to be the pinnacle of, if someone magical doesn't do something pretty soon, like or the government help the hospitality industry or something like that, that's going to be the point where we're at £10 pint, and then unfortunately, obviously, I know probably wages will rise by then and everything else, but it still doesn't quite add up.
The
and
profit
I think,
margin is so low already,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna get lower.
so what do you think? What's your consensus then? What do you think is going to happen?
So I've been saying this for probably the best part of a year or so, but I reckon it's going to hit a point where we just can't continue. Not just us, but like as an industry, we can't continue, and it's just going to crash. We're going to lose probably about 50% of our pubs, bars, restaurants, and things before anyone really goes, "Oh fuck, well, we're actually missing something here," And then something will change. We'll get the investment, we'll get the help needed, and then that'll give it like a resurgence. And then, but we'll still be down. Like there's still going to be 50%.
It'll still never hit the peak.
There's still going to be loss of people who will never come back to the industry because of the way it all crashed and happens. I reckon that it will have a massive turning point before it even starts to bounce back. So, but
I feel like the downward trend that it's on now, like you're saying, that it will bounce back at some point. It'll never hit the same peak.
Well, no.
It will just kind of plateau in between that kind of middle ground of
Because the other thing
gaining
is,
things, losing sites, gaining sites.
because I think touching on like obviously what you said, like finding the new thing. So obviously it was gins a while ago. It was this, it was that, the other, and then obviously
now it's the non-alcoholic and ordering online.
And then with the other side of it is obviously, like you say, it's going to up and trough. The interesting thing at the moment, like this, so this year's, so obviously we just started freshers in Leicester, but obviously some people just like that. This year's freshers, 40, I think it's 46, or I might be getting it a bit mixed up, but roughly say 40% of the new 18-year-olds that are coming into university believe currently they will never drink, or they will not be drinking.
That's mad.
And that to me is nuts. So I think a lot of because obviously when we were at uni and when we've been at uni or around uni, that was, I mean, especially for me and stuff, it was the focus. That's why you were at uni, to have a really good time being left.
I went like 2 or 3 years ago, and like it was all going out, getting absolutely.
But do you think it's, let's say that it's like 40 odd percent, sorry. So with that 40 odd percent, then they're no longer drinking. That's 40% of the the students that have come through, whatever it might be, and that only feels like it's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
So I think the trick in hospitality is to keep on top of things, like you said, with the non-alcoholics, bit like that. But I think soon enough we're going to have to come up with something different, something new. And I think like what we do at our place, we think of like events, we think of games, we think of this, we think of that, to keep people coming in, because then at least it's not revolving around alcohol. But as a bar, to say we're trying to think of things that don't revolve around alcohol is madness, because that's what we do. But we're having to do that now to get those students in, get those people in. For it's almost entertainment now. Well, we have to.
I reckon the entertainment value is where we're going to have to lean into, because you can do everything at home now. If you want to make a cocktail, you can get a cocktail making kit. You can do everything at home.
You see those really fancy robot ones you can do, and you can buy them on Amazon, and you pick them up, you put your alcohol in and press which cocktail you want, and it makes it for you.
Really? No, I haven't seen that.
I mean, they're pretty expensive. But you know what I mean?
But it's still an option.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what I mean. I think it's now more than ever, it's critical that we have to deliver the service that we say we will. We have to go above and beyond, make every person's experience not necessarily the same experience, but the one that they're going to remember. And then when they come back, we have to deliver that again.
That's the other thing with obviously it's a two-edged sword, because if you're not making any money anymore, you're making a lot less money. This is the one we say, very independent bars, for example, money goes down, the first thing you do is cut your labour. To save. That's the easiest thing. So all of a sudden, that great service that time that first person went in, because there was 2 staff on, it was clean, they've sat down at the table, they've been served really well, whatever kind of bar or restaurant it might be, there's now only one person doing it. And that person, is running around like a blue-ass fly to try and just keep the business going. So then now all of a sudden the attention to detail, the attention to the customer, the talking, the having a bit of a laugh with that customer doesn't exist because they ain't got time. And then all of a sudden it's just I've just went into a bar and got a drink, had my drink and left.
Yeah.
It's not, I met
And
this
I
new
reckon
bar
that is the
staff.
standard service
No.
cycle these days, is that people just come in, don't get like a massive
They don't
like
get-
hoo-ha,
they don't.
and then they go, cool, I've had a beer, bye.
Yeah.
And they go.
It's not something, and they go, oh, what'd you do? I just went for a drink.
Yeah.
Not, oh, I went to this bar, I met this bloke there, he told me all about this new cocktail, I've learned all about whiskey, I've learned about gins, now this is my new favourite drink.
Yeah.
You don't get that anymore. It's like, what, you all right, mate, what can I get you? There you go. And that's, so it's two-edged sword. So now, less people are going to go to that bar because they've not really had an experience, they've just got what they wanted. Whereas if you go to another bar where they've invested in staff, they've invested in this, the place looks great, whatever.
Yeah.
But again, the downside is less people are going in, there's less money everywhere.
Yeah.
So this is people want an amazing experience when they go to somewhere because they're spending their hard-earned cash. But the problem is not enough people are going to there to spend their hard-earned cash to give that experience.
In Leicester as well, especially with the freshers that have just come in,
They're not interested.
They're not
I've been
interested.
out, like club sites and stuff like in the city centre. I've walked past them. I will have to walk past them to go home.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Nowhere near as busy as it was like when I went in freshers.
Well, I went to the freshers event the other day, and I was walking around, and obviously to get people in and stuff, we're offering like free beer. I'm offering like, come on, come down. I'll get you a free drink.
that,
Like
yeah.
everyone who walks through that door is going to get a free beer today. Come on down. 10 years ago, there'd be 10,000 students out there, they're all queuing up ready to go. Now, I honestly had to beg, plead, and steal to try and get them to come in. And it wasn't that they weren't drinkers or anything like that. They were just like, it's just not. It's not a thing anymore, I suppose. But if I'd have said, we've got, I don't know, some crazy offer. I don't know. I don't know what it would have been to drag them in.
I do think COVID had
A
an
massive
impact on
play
it.
in that, yeah.
If you hadn't went out on a night out before COVID, then it's never been the same since then.
And
Like,
do you think that then that sort of
it's kind of snowballed onto kind of younger years and stuff that they've never
gone out? They don't want to go out. It's not what they do anymore.
Like they don't go out as hard as like people would have like in a few years above because they don't do that, and like every year that gets worse because
And I think
year
there's
before
there's
are
no
doing less
social
than
pressure for it.
Exactly.
Because the social has been a past.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is that with
Like the reverse snowball effect.
the young ones especially, like they've got so much information now about health and fitness and this and that, and I think that's a big thing as well.
that information was still the same information that was 10
But
years ago.
but if you go on TikTok, that's all you see.
Yeah.
The same if
You
you
see
go
what
on
I mean?
Instagram and stuff like it depends
it's
on what
like
you want to see.
everyone's a
though.
personal trainer, everyone wants to be this, everyone's fit and healthy, and that's kind of actually alcohol. I mean, don't get me wrong, as I said,
You're
I've stopped
on
drinking,
social media,
but
you're only seeing what you want to see. Like,
Yeah.
If
But I just think
you
that
want
it's-
to see something else, you see that.
yeah, I just think it's a lot more apparent, a lot more.
Don't get me
There's a
wrong.
lot more of it, and I think again because of that, people are going, oh, actually, no, alcohol is bad for you. It's not, and then now they're going, maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll make the right choice. I don't know. I just think I think not just us, but I think every current bar, restaurant, everything else, we need to come up with something that's more enticing than just going, we sell alcohol.
Yeah.
I do think we are competing with other people in Leicester just to
We're
bring
competing
people-
with events. We're competing.
that's
I think
what
we're
I'm saying,
competing with
like-
activities.
Yeah.
And I think the average bar, club, everything else, unless they start doing stuff like that, they're not going to survive. And I think that is everyone's going to do. I mean, there could be good bars out there that do because they do something really nichey. But I think your generic, pub in town, for example, unless it's just for your regular customers, you're not going to get those new students in. They're not going to be like that. But that's what I just
unless you're dead cheap.
yeah, well,
like
that's
some
it, and then you don't
places.
make any money anyway,
Yeah.
so there's no point.
Exactly.
Just having a quick peep. So
Before we run out of time.
we've waffled a lot today.
Yeah.
So obviously talking about alcohol and stuff, just because that's what we kind of do. Currently, even though the students and things like that necessarily aren't drinking stuff, there still is a top 10. So what I was going to do is just quickly ask you guys. You've got those there. So if you pass us one of those, you've got yours.
I've got mine here.
Sick. So just for a bit of fun before we finish off, because we don't want to end on a low. I mean, at the end of the day, we do love what we're doing. But top 10 cocktails. So what I want you to do is write down your top 10 cocktails that you think the UK's top 10 cocktails are.
Top 10.
Top 10.
Like specific cocktails? Or
Yeah,
just like
your normal cocktails.
normal cocktails.
Yeah, nothing weird.
So have I got to rank them?
Just
are we
write-
ranking
write
them or we
down.
just
No,
writing them
just
down?
Not
write them
rank-
down.
okay.
Yeah, if you can get your top 10, and we'll see how we go on that one. And what you think, I want you to write just the top. Once you've written them all down, put a number 1 over the one you think is actually the number 1 cocktail.
It's just going to be one of two, though. Isn't
It could be, it might not be. I think you'd be surprised, actually.
Will I?
I've never seen you two write so fast. Oh, he's ballsed it up.
Shit.
How have you ballsed up writing down? You've only wrote 2 things.
I did a W instead of an N.
It doesn't have to be spelled
It
properly.
says martini
It doesn't have.
instead of martini.
It doesn't have to be spelled properly. Come on.
Every single cocktail I've ever made has gone out my head.
I think Canny's already won this because he's wrote more than 3 things.
Alright.
You know, with while you're scribbling, because we've got about 10 minutes, if that left. What do you think? You know, going forward, obviously we said about this podcast, we're going to do 12 episodes. We're going to do, we talk about hospitality, we talk about the things we know. But I've also thought about obviously the evolution of this podcast. So what we think we can move it into as well, because there's only so much. I mean, don't get me wrong, we can always talk about hospitality, but there's only so much everyone can listen to about the same subject. And obviously, we want this to, if we progress doing it 12 onwards, the evolution of this. I think we could really help people with the actually just getting through stuff with within hospitality more than anything, with our experiences.
I have 3 more. Oh,
He's going for something else.
I don't know how it's
Right, 5 seconds. 4.
5 seconds?
Yeah, I got bored.
Oh,
3,
come on.
2, 1. Pens down. What? And don't forget to write your number 1. Which one you think number 1 is of your choices? Sam, write your number 1. You take too long. Right then. So top 10, we are rocking a martini.
No Pacific martini.
No specific martini.
Just a martini.
Just like a vodka martini or just something that has
Literally
martini
just a
in the name?
martini. It's under.
Because,
So we've got.
does that mean I get to tick 2 off?
Yeah,
Why not?
Okay.
sound.
Let's go for mojito,
Yes.
Negroni,
Yes.
Because I forgot about.
pina colada,
Fuck, I forgot about that.
old fashioned,
Yes.
Aperol spritz, daiquiri,
Yes.
Long Island iced tea,
I forgot about it.
cosmopolitan,
Oh, Cosmo. Forgot about that.
margarita.
Yes.
What did you put as your number 1?
Mojito.
What did you put as your number 1?
Mayo.
Margarita.
Margarita. Fuck. How many did you get?
7.
You beat me.
Sammy the
Did I
champ.
actually?
Yeah.
You're so happy with
I
yourself.
didn't even get 10.
Well, I went with the ones that I made more than ones that I thought about I would like myself. I didn't even put a marks on it.
That's mad.
I know.
That's madness.
About how many that
I
I
think I
drank.
put Woo Woo down in my tie.
Yeah, I put a Mai Tai.
Yeah.
Fair play.
I thought Woo Woo Woo.
Woo woo.
I put a
It
Sex
would
on
have
the
been.
Beach
You'd
down,
have
yeah.
thought Sex on the Beach would have been up there, but it's not one of the top 10.
I really think that's a cocktail.
But it's to a lot of places. But anyway, so yeah, as I say, it's been great to sort of catch up, and I think we've got we spoke about lots of awesome stuff. I think
We had a really good waffle there.
what a really good waffle.
I think it was a bit more serious.
Yeah.
Well, not in like a serious way, but we were,
That's it. I mean,
We had
as I
like
say,
a discussion today
Yeah,
opposed to
exactly.
just a couple
Yeah.
of topics that we
yeah, exactly.
spoke
I
about,
think we
yeah.
actually talked about it
Yeah.
a bit more
Yeah.
than we have done
And
previously.
it is one of those, and I think anyone listening or watching or whatever else, if comments would be great, because it's sort of, I'm really interested to see what people think the way hospitality is. Obviously, we're in it. We but obviously there's other places
There's only
that
3 of us. And
there's
we-
3 of
we
us,
all
and
do the
we're
exact same thing
in our
same
little
place.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously there could be other people in other bars, other restaurants, things like that, who go, "Nah, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
thriving. We've never seen it so busy."
Yeah.
So we could be wrong, but it'd be interesting to see if we can talk to anyone else.
I reckon a great thing is if anyone did feel like commenting that the discussion about this whole smoking issue and where they feel like it would land, and also anything that they want to like discuss with us essentially, because
Yeah.
it's not just us three, is it? It's,
No,
you know,
exactly. I say we're still looking. There's a couple of guests that got lined up eventually, but
Yeah.
it's really hard to try and get everyone in at the same time and things like that. But
we'll figure ourselves out. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it. But yeah, so as I said, comments and stuff like that. If anyone else is doing really well, or anyone's struggling, or anything else in between, you guys have now got a challenge. So 30 days.
30 days soft.
You got 30 days challenge. Okay, I just want you to read a little bit, go to bed a bit earlier, turn off your
Yeah.
stuff, do some steps for me, and I promise you'll feel 100 times better. It's definitely worth it. And anyone else who's listening, if they fancy a bit of a challenge, go for it, because it genuinely does change a lot, and it does make you feel pretty good. They're the two things I'm 100% keeping. So, but yeah, that's it for me. You guys got anything else you want to tell me? Say.
No,
We're all done.
I waffled out.
Yeah,
Nice one. Okay, lovely. Well, thanks ever so much.
Good day, gents.
Cheers.